Now that we have this copied, we'll add it to the browser right there. The next up, you got the width and the height. Can be any dimensions you want, any dimension. So if you go ahead and type that, so the next chat, saving it CSS, I'm going to replace. There's my pop out chat, and I'll go ahead and put it up on my overlay about where I want it. And we'll go over customizing it too, now that we've got this thing up here. Just a quick test here. Purposes. So I said you could save it to your hard drive. I'm going to open the code because there is a link going back to the Bitbucket config. I put everything in here as easy to understand and for fonts and developer. Absolutely love it. Was to import command, and that's everything here under import between the style tags. So I'll copy that and go back to our CSS and replace the import. So now we're importing Lobster instead of Montserrat. All right, so down here is where we set the page font. See where it says font family? It can be any font installed on your computer or one that you imported from above. And if we look at the Google Fonts, you'll see right here, in order to make this font work, we want to use this font family setting. So we'll copy that over right there, just like that. So if I copy all the contents, go back to my YouTube chat properties, and overwrite the CSS with what we've now done and hit OK, after it reloads, there we are. Now we have a fancy font. Wouldn't recommend this kind of font for streaming just because you want something that's really easy to read, but it just gives you an idea of the level of customization. All right, so going back to our style sheet, we scroll down, we'll see an area labeled colors. This takes hex, RGB, or RGBA, and I give you a link to a color picker website. There are many out there. Don't get me wrong. There's tons of color picker websites. I just linked one of them just to get you started. Reason I like this is because down here in the bottom right, it can calculate out an RGBA value for you. So let's say we want to mess with our colors. Owner name color. This is going to be what you normally see as yellow in the chat with a little crown, meaning you're the one streaming live and you are the owner. It's normally like a yellow color. Well, let's say, you know, I kind of want to make it match my background. So we'll go with kind of a bluish tinge, as it were. Maybe a little bit of red in there and a little bit of green. That was close enough. And for this, I'm just going to have full opacity. So RGBA value, that's what we care about. We're going to copy that. And over here, owner name color, we're going to change that to the RGBA value. Just to show you what that looks like. Properties, CSS, replace it all. And now you'll notice that my name matches my theme, right? Now let's say we want to change the message text. It's currently listed as gray. I'm just going to use a hex tag that I know from doing this enough. It should turn it green. I don't actually like that with this theme, but it should give you a good impression of what all you can change. So I'll save that. And there you go. Now I've got green messages. And again, the colors you can change are the username colors, which is your standard users, owner name colors, moderator name colors, message text color. The last two colors, let's talk about that. That's a chat message background for even rows and chat message background for odd rows. You'll notice on my chat, that's got the 3 messages right now. It's 3 black transparent rounded squares, right? They're like little slits. And that's what this refers to. So we're going to go back to our color picker website. And let's say I want to do something crazy, right? Let's say I want to get like a pink, mostly. That looks good. We'll copy that. And we'll make that for all the even rows. Okay. Now for the odd rows, let's say we want to make that a bit blue, a bit more blue. And we'll make that one a little bit more opaque. Copy. Change that setting there. Okay. And again, we're just going to open up the properties to our browser source plugin for YouTube chat, replace all the CSS, hit OK. And there we go. Now I've got alternating rows of colors, right? Now I do have another section called advanced. I would actually suggest staying away from that unless you know what you're doing with style sheets. But if you do know what you're doing with style sheets, you can do some pretty crazy stuff, right? So the first thing I want to show you, let's say we still want to show user avatars. Well, I've got a section called hide chat elements, author photo. Let's remove that from the comma separated list. And there we go. Now the author photo shows up as the standard little circle. All right, here's a notated thing. Messages appear under the author name instead of beside it. Well, maybe I don't want that rule at all. So we'll delete it. And again, replace everything in the CSS box with our modifications. And there we are. Now the chat starts at the same line as the username. The spacing between messages, you know, let's say we just want to be crazy and make it super, super space separated. Again, just replacing the CSS. There we go. So now we've got what I would deem kind of an ugly chat setup, but you can do whatever you want with it. You can do absolutely anything you want with it. It's yours to modify. I hold no rights to it. I'm happy to provide it to you guys. So that'll get you your chat overlay. Now, users from my pop-out script that was once upon a time required to get this kind of stuff working are probably asking, okay, Frost, but what about donation alerts? And for that, there's actually a really great service that exists right now called Streamlabs, and you can find that at streamlabs.com. Again, the URLs and discussion here in this video are going to be in the description below. Now, Streamlabs will require you to authenticate and log in as either your YouTube account or your Twitch account. And what we care about is something called the alert box. So I just pulled that up here. Now this thing is really cool because it can show you donations, subscribers, sponsors, or even YouTube fan funding events. And it gives you a URL. Now this works kind of like the YouTube chat plugin. We're just going to add a new browser source, or older applications of OBS probably call it CLR browser. And we're going to call this, I'll just call it alert box. Name it whatever you want. Type in the URL, which is listed there.